Hello, this is Comic Station issue number 60 for February 19th, 2014. As you can see, we're going to try something a little different today. First off, we have the New Warriors number 1 from Marvel Comics. This is a stereotypical team building comic book, and for number 1 you have a whole bunch of different teams spread about different locations. It's more of an introduction, little page here or there. Mostly teams of 2 characters in certain locations interacting with each other. That way you get a little bit of character bouncing off of each other. It's more of an introduction, and there is a little line in here that really sums it up for me. Besides the really nice artwork, the line sums it up, where one of the characters mentions, "In the world of the Avengers, who needs the New Warriors?" We're about to find out. Unfortunately, issue number 1 does not have the team joining, but it does set up some of the characters, some more favorable than others, and sets up an overall mystery of possible genocide going on, so there's always that benefit. But in the end, it really does come down to a stereotypical introduction of a team where certain members just get introduced and you find a little bit about them, but nothing overall really happens. It does set up for some future action, though. Now that we have the big boy out of the way, let's get to some of the smaller comics that we enjoy so much. First off, in the land of the weird is IDW's X-Files, Conspiracies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because come on, what's better than mixing up some of the X-Files with some of the greatest titles and the weirdest titles from IDW. This is issue number 3, so they have done some other weird things, so go ahead and check that out. But being a fan of the Ninja Turtles, I wanted to check this out. And the artwork, a little rough, but overall, it's a lot of fun just to see. You get Mulder does show up a little bit in here, but it's really some Mythbusters kind of guys showing up, and they're trying to find out there's an attack of vampires, and of course they think, wow, vampires look like turtles. So there's some, obviously, disconnect there, but it's really just overall fun, hokey. It's interesting. It's weird to see the Ninja Turtles, something of the X-Files. Nice artwork overall, though. It's interesting, but overall, just a lot of hokey fun, and that's what IDW is for. I mean, this is what the small comics, just to see something different. And weird sums it up. Next up, we have Undertow from Image Comics. This one has an interesting art style, a little rough at times, it makes it a little dense, but in other times it's really quite nice. Overall, the story is about Atlantians that are just kind of sick of their home city for themes that you may be familiar with, such as people getting lazy and just accepting the majority's rule, and a 93% election rate seems totally legit, doesn't it? So one of them acknowledges that it kind of looks like a steal, and unfortunately, as he says, the majority of the people are just kind of fat and floating around and accepting of it. They are happy to have their lives planned out for them. It's more of a fascist system. So these are the people that have left that system and are looking for new life, and they are looking for it on land. And in here we do see some humans, but they are hunting in packs with rocks and so forth, so you can see the timeline here, and they are looking for a key to find a new settlement on land. And it's actually really quite an interesting story, because the social economics undertone of Undertow is quite indicative of what a lot of people can sometimes feel about today. People are very just overall accepting of their fate, just going along with the flow and not really fighting against it, not trying to make their own path. And in here, they are. So the art style is nice, the story has some depth to it. There are times when the art style just does not keep it very well. It's a little disjointed, and that is a combination of the art style and the story, but overall, really well done. And it is an interesting overall. I think I'm probably going to look for this more in a trade paperback, hopefully a collection from Image Comics, though. You can't really go wrong. Finally, we have Loki, Ragnarok and Roll from Boom Studios. This one, however, I really enjoy the artwork in this. It's kind of a little more old school, but it's really fun, it's interesting. There's a great page where you see a whole bunch of gods. Really, they're ideas that have formed, and they believe themselves to be the gods, because who's going to argue with one? So, it's interesting, it's funny, it's a new take on the Loki and Thor, and essentially Loki ends up getting banished to Earth and joins a rock band. What more do you need from that? It's quite fun. It makes fun of itself a little bit. There's a bunch of little things. In one scene you see a whole bunch of gods and little asterisks of who the gods are. Plenty of things you can miss in there. But overall, I enjoyed the artwork. It is a 1 of 4, so they should wrap up the story pretty well. And personally, I'm looking forward to seeing how they do with it. Although I may wait until all 4 are out to read them all at once. Overall, really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a new take on a story that has been done, become mythology, and then has blown up again. So, it's a new take on Loki and Thor and the Asgardians. Because we don't have everybody here today, we're going to go over the reviews very quickly. Overall, just want to point out that on frontwardsgamer.com, Leto has a whole bunch of great reviews up with Star Wars Darth Vader and the Cry of Shadows #3, Terminator's Enemy of My Enemy #1, The White Suits #1, which I read, did enjoy very well, from Dark Horse Comics. It has a good amount of mystery, some memory loss, and quite enjoyable to me. See what he thinks. And, of course, Manifest Destiny #4. This is a series that has been talked about for a while now, and check out, see what Leto thinks about it, and then check it out yourself and see what you think. Thank you very much. This has been Comic Station issue number 60 for February 19, 2014. Hopefully next week we are all together and we can be back to the normal format. But in the meantime, tell us, what did you think of this new something different? Let us know. As always, we will see you next week. Thank you.